Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing.
Hi. Aku banyak main kan?
Test mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Test mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ni, kat office. Test mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Test mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ujian suara 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you to this press conference in conjunction with the conclusion of the 57th ASEAN Economic Ministers Meeting and related meetings. We are delighted to see so many familiar faces here today. We are truly honored to have with us Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, AEM Chair, and also His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Horn, Secretary General of ASEAN, distinguished guests, and of course our friends from the media. Thank you for joining us. To kick things off, it is my great pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, AEM Chair, to deliver his remarks. Silakan.
Thank you, Excellency Secretary General, Dr. Kao Kim Horn, media friends and colleagues, YB Liu Chintong, our Deputy Minister, as well as Deputy Secretary Savinda, and the rest of the meeting team, the Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General, and all of you who are here today. As Chair of ASEAN in 2025, Malaysia is proud to have hosted the 57 ASEAN Economic Ministers and related meeting this week. We started on Monday, and today we just concluded the series of meetings. And this annual ASEAN Economic Ministers Meetup is an important platform for ASEAN economic ministers to exchange views on the regional and the global economic outlook. Is also an opportunity to discuss the progress of our PEDs, our priority economic deliverables, and key initiatives under the ASEAN Economic Community, as well as our joint initiatives with our dialogue partners. It has been a busy week for all of us, starting from the prep of the SIOMs, the preparatory done by the senior economic officials meeting, to the 57 AEM meeting itself and the related meetings. I'm pleased to share the key outcomes of our series meeting this week, and then I will invite the Secretary General of ASEAN to share his views as well. For your information, all the joint media statements also have been uploaded into ASEAN official website. This year, a few key themes dominated our discussions in both internal ASEAN meetings as well as in our consultations with ASEAN dialogue partners. These include, number one, the growing global trend of protectionism and the rise of unilateral trade measures, which pose significant risks to the multilateral rule-based trading system and the stability of global supply chains. So we underscored our shared commitment to uphold a free, fair, inclusive, rules-based, and non-discriminatory multilateral trading system with WTO principles at its core. Secondly, ASEAN reaffirmed our resolve to constructively engage with all external partners to address their concerns, their legitimate concerns. ASEAN also stands ready to deepen economic cooperation that deliver mutual benefits for ASEAN and its partners. Related to this, we acknowledge the ASEAN Geo-Economic Task Force, AGTF. They made recommendations on new approaches and strategies to advance ASEAN integration amidst increasing geo-economic fragmentation. This is key to ensuring a coordinated ASEAN strategy for adapting to the evolving global geo-economic and geopolitical landscape. And thirdly, a joint session between ASEAN Economic Ministers and ASEAN Foreign Ministers will also be convened on the margins of the upcoming Leaders Summit to foster greater policy coherence and strengthen cross-pillar coordination. The ministers discussed and welcomed the good progress of the 18 PEDs under the Malaysian Chairmanship this year, particularly 9 PEDs, which is under the direct purview of the ASEAN Economic Ministers. This includes the full completion of the joint declaration on economic cooperation between ASEAN and the GCC, the endorsement of the ASEAN framework for integrated semiconductor supply chain, the adoption of the report and preparing initial framework for electric vehicle battery passport in ASEAN, the finalization of the ASEAN Sustainable Investment Guideline, and in terms of trade agreements, we further welcome the conclusion and upcoming signing of the second protocol of ATIGA, our ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, and the ASEAN-China FTA in October 2025. Notably, we have also made good progress of ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement, the DEFA. The ministers reaffirmed their commitment to the timely implementation of these PEDs as it will bring tangible benefits to business and also to people, and therefore further strengthening ASEAN's economic resilience and long-term growth. And the upgraded version of ATIGA actually marks a significant leap forward, designed to be more agile and responsive to both regional and global economic shift. And of course, the ASEAN DEFA will drive economic growth and social advancement towards an ASEAN-wide digital economy. In addition to PEDs, during the meeting, we also signed the ASEAN Framework Agreement on Competition and look forward to the completion of the signing of the 5th protocol to amend the ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement as soon as possible. Next, we look forward to the historical moment where Timor-Leste will be fully admitted as the 11th member state of ASEAN at the 47th ASEAN Summit in October. In this connection, we collectively affirm support for Timor-Leste's membership into ASEAN and welcomed continued capacity building programs to strengthen Timor-Leste readiness to meet its obligation under the ASEAN Economic Community. In furtherance to the ASEAN AEC Strategic Plan 2026 to 2030 that was adopted recently at the Leaders Summit, and we continue to chart concrete paths and action plans in implementing the plans that we have already agreed. With our external partners, we welcome the entry into force of the second protocol to amend the ASEAN Australia-New Zealand Free Trade Area for 9 parties, including Australia and New Zealand. And this milestone actually reflects our ability to modernize the agreement, ensuring that we remain relevant to evolving business realities. We also noted the steady progress of the ASEAN-Canada Free Trade Agreement in negotiation and expected to conclude substantial conclusion by end of 2026. On the review of the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, ITIGA, which is also listed as one of Malaysia's PED, ASEAN remains committed to concluding the review by 2025, despite several challenges and criticisms, recognizing its vital role in strengthening supply chain and unlocking new opportunities. So ASEAN has put forward a balanced package in good faith, underscoring its determination to work with India towards a modern, business-friendly, and future-ready agreement. So moving forward, ASEAN maintains an optimistic outlook that through constructive engagement and mutual trust, the upgraded ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement will serve as a catalyst for deeper integration. Meanwhile, the Republic of Korea will look forward to the launch of the AKFTA upgrade negotiations soon. And given the ongoing global and regional economic uncertainties, ASEAN remains proactive in diversifying and expanding our economic links and network. We have the ASEAN GCC Economic Cooperation, for example. And we also like to put on record our appreciation to the ASEAN Business Advisory Council for the progress they made. And with WPO, WIPO, we also welcome the progress of the MOU on cooperation in specific areas. Last but not least, we express our appreciation to Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia area and OECD, UNESCAP, UNCTAD for their unwavering support to ASEAN in delivering various initiatives and capacity building progress across the ASEAN Economic Community workstream. I will now invite the Secretary General of ASEAN to share his views and to add on further updates from our meetings today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul. Tengku Abdul. Dear media friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking Minister Zafrul for your outstanding leadership during the ASEAN Economic Ministers and related ministerial meetings this week. I also would like to express our appreciation to you and your team for the kind hospitality and excellent arrangements extended to this meeting. The AEM and related meetings had provided an excellent opportunity for ASEAN Economic Minister to have a candid, frank, and productive exchange of views on the latest global and regional economic outlook, discuss the strategic policy directions and measures required to foster ASEAN economic integration and to engage with our dialogue partners, private sector, and other key stakeholders. Please allow me to add on and complement what ASEAN Minister Zafrul had just briefed you just now. It is worth highlighting that global and regional economic landscape is undergoing a transformative period characterized by the rise of protectionism and unilateralism, profound impact of digital technologies, and the accelerating green transition, bringing both unprecedented challenges and opportunities. As an integral part of global economy, ASEAN has proactively embraced the changes brought through the bold regional economic achievements. But first, I wish to highlight on the ATIGA upgrade as an important priority economic deliverables of Malaysia's ASEAN Chairmanship this year. ASEAN Economic Ministers were pleased with the conclusion of the ATIGA upgrade negotiations in May of this year and affirmed their target to sign it at the sidelines of the 47th ASEAN Summit next month. The upgraded ATIGA represents a significant milestone in ASEAN's trade agenda, not only in boosting intra-ASEAN trade and investment, but also in consolidating ASEAN as a single market and production base. The upgraded ATIGA incorporates new elements to address emerging issues, including remanufactured goods, trade investment, trade in humanitarian crisis situations, supply chain connectivity, and a new alternative dispute resolution mechanism to enhance the resilience and future-proof of the region's trade ecosystem. Second, the substantial conclusion of the ASEAN Digital Framework Agreement, DIFA, in 2025 will be a landmark for the ASEAN economic integration. Building on the progress achieved under the Benda Serai Big One Roadmap and ASEAN Digital Transformation Agenda, particularly in digital payment, paperless trade, and cybersecurity. The DIFA is set to leapfrog the development of a regional digital economy. It will give every business a great opportunity to scale up their business models and harness digital technologies in order to expand their markets across the border. As the new generation of economic agreement, DIFA is one of the most anticipated ASEAN agreements, expect to bring immense benefits to businesses and people in our region. Third, the new global ASEAN strategy underscores a strategic shift towards intensification and diversification. As we navigate a complex and uncertain global landscape, ASEAN's global strategy reinforces ASEAN's position as the most dynamic and attractive destination for business. Today, ASEAN is upgrading bilateral FTAs with our partners to ensure their continued relevance to business reality. Following the successful upgrades of the ASEAN-Australia FTA in 2024 and ASEAN-China FTA 3.0 in 2025, the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement is under review, with the ASEAN-Korea FTA next in line. Beyond the FTA upgrade negotiations and other trade talks, the ministers also took stock of economic cooperation work plans with our partners, representing a good opportunity to update our economic cooperation with our partners, particularly as ASEAN had recently launched our ASEAN Community Vision 2045. In an effort to diversify our economic ties with various countries in the world, the recent joint declaration on economic cooperation between ASEAN and the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, adopted by our leaders during their summit in May of this year, mark a new chapter in ASEAN economic cooperation and active engagement with the Middle East. The ASEAN Economic Minister also discussed measures to open new opportunities for trade, investment, and sustainable development between the two dynamic regions. Fourth, the Minister also looked forward to the formal admission of Timor-Leste as the 11th ASEAN member state at the upcoming 47th ASEAN Summit next month. We are pleased with the progress made in Timor-Leste accession to the ASEAN economic agreements. The Minister are also committed to supporting Timor-Leste in the effective implementation of all ASEAN economic agreements through targeted capacity building programs, enabling Timor-Leste to fully realize the tangible benefits of ASEAN economic integration. Nevertheless, the Minister noted that further work is required to ensure Timor-Leste full participation in all ASEAN economic cooperation mechanisms, particularly in its engagement with ASEAN external partners. Fifth, the ASEAN Economic Minister underscored the importance of fostering transparent, forward-looking, and constructive dialogues with the private sector to advance ASEAN's regional economic priorities. At this meeting, we also endorsed to revise rules of procedure for private sector engagement under the ASEAN Economic Community to establish a more robust structure and efficient framework for public-private collaboration. We also call on all relevant ASEAN sectoral bodies, particularly under the ASEAN Economic Community, to actively engage with the private sector, ensuring that industry insights are fully integrated into ASEAN's policy development processes. In conclusion, I would like to congratulate the Chair, Minister Zafrul, as well as the other ASEAN Economic Ministers for their productive discussion we have this week in advancing ASEAN economic integration agenda, as well as ASEAN engagement with our various partners. And I believe that Minister Zafrul's able leadership has been able to bring the 57 ASEAN Economic Minister and related meetings to a successful conclusion and to deliver many remarkable deliverables this year. So again, once again, congratulations, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Kao Kim. And I also like to take this opportunity to thank to all our media as well, our media friends, for all your hard work in the last 4 days supporting the ASEAN Economic Ministers. We appreciate your dedication in making sure this week is a success and the public is aware of the importance of this week and definitely to talk about securing Malaysia and ASEAN's economic future. So let's also give a round of applause to the media. Okay, so with that, we don't need to have Q&A, right? Okay, can open the floor to questions. All questions relating to ASEAN will be answered by Secretary General.
Hello, Dato' Sri.
Yeah.
And from Bernama. Memandangkan ASEAN Secretariat dah ada di Singapura, dah ada di Indonesia, manakala APEC Secretariat dah ada di Singapura, mungkin ada cadangan untuk wujudkan RCEP Secretariat di KL?
Tidak ada lagi cadangan mengenai mana pejabat RCEP. In fact, dalam perbincangan RCEP tidak ada lagi dalam agenda. Jadi ini masih lagi peringkat belum lagi naik ke peringkat menteri lah. So kita biar senior officials berbincang dulu mengenai ini. Sekarang ini dia di bawah ASEAN Secretariat yang membantu.
Two questions. First, also about RCEP. I hope to know that what's the conclusion of the RCEP future development in this meeting? And Hong Kong, China has formally submitted an application to join RCEP January this year. So what's the current progress for the application? And the second question is regarding the tariff issue. Is there any progress has been achieved in talks with USTR?
Thank you. I'll answer the second one first. There was no discussion on tariff with USTR, so that issue was never discussed. We talked about collaboration, cooperation of trade and economy, especially, of course, including investment between US and ASEAN. And on RCEP Hong Kong China, at RCEP Ministers Meeting, we discussed about the way forward and preparation for the RCEP Leaders Meeting. RCEP Ministers came out with few ideas and few proposals that will be included in the agenda when the RCEP Leaders Meeting, including the accession of 4 countries. So that will be, again, be deliberated and discussed during the RCEP Leaders Meeting in the end of October. Oh, yes, Melissa, go.
With Trump announced new tariffs today, how is it going to complicate matters for ASEAN to come up with coordinated response, and for Malaysia in particular?
Yeah, so we in ASEAN, of course, like what we have been experiencing since April, since Liberation Day, we'll definitely look at the impact to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to our respective ASEAN member states. But at the same time, we will discuss at any ASEAN platform. We are going to meet again end of October under the ASEAN Economic Committee meetings, AECC meetings. So we can discuss then. For now, Malaysia is evaluating the impact to our industries. So we will revert back once we know the impact. But please bear in mind that this is something that is already expected. It's just that we want to know when, and we'll wait for the details about the tariff that's going to be impacting some of the sectors.
Yeah, just want to ask you a question. You mentioned that you were expecting new tariffs on furnitures, for instance. So the mood hasn't changed? You're not surprised or with these new tariffs?
We are not surprised because, as all of you should be aware by now, this tariff negotiation and tariff discussion, we understand the US position, right? For Malaysia, we have always stated our stance that we will continue to engage the US. And that's a similar stance by ASEAN. We also then have to ensure that we continue to do what we need to do as a country, as a bloc, right? We believe in the principle of neutrality, we believe in the principle of centrality when it comes to ASEAN. And therefore, for us, discussion today, discussion at the ASEAN level, we continue to support the rule-based multilateral trading system with the WTO principles at its core. So for us, US have their right to do what they need to do, but for us, we should continue to support multilateralism and continue to diversify, strengthen our companies, and we cannot be too focused on just a decision by the US or any other country for that matter.
Can we have one last question, please?
Hi, Dr. Sri, Anas from Bernama. So you mentioned just now ASEAN foreign ministers and economic minister will meet. So do you have definitive dates prior to the summit in October?
Yes, we have a definitive date, but I can't remember the date. 25th, okay. The ASEAN Secretary reminded me, it's on the 25th of October. This is the first time we'll have a joint meeting, and the ASEAN Geo-Economic Task Force will be presenting to both the foreign and economic ministers.
All right, I think that's about it. Thank you once again, Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Datuk Sri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, His Excellency Dr. Kau Kim Hun, and all our media friends for being with us today. We truly appreciate your support and coverage. And on that note, we look forward to welcoming all of you again at the ASEAN Summit next month. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we officially conclude today's press conference. Thank you, travel safe, and see you at the ASEAN Summit.